Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. What a time to be a Knicks fan. We're heading to the second round in consecutive seasons for the first time since 2000. Jalen Brunson has established himself as a top 5 Knick ever, and I'm even going back to the start of the franchise. I get it's been 2 seasons, but you have to understand that last year, Brunson, he took the Knicks from a play-in team all the way up to the second round of the playoffs, and then this season, Brunson put up top 5 numbers in the entire NBA. I thought he was the most valuable. I don't think anyone was more valuable than Brunson. Randall, Mitchell Robinson, OG, these guys are constantly out of the lineup, and Brunson wheels the Knicks to 50 wins, the 2 seed in the East. I mean, it's just awesome. Of course, a lot of other people deserve credit too. Josh Hart, Donte DiVincenzo, OG, since he's been on the court, Knicks are 25-4. Coach Thibodeau, I'm biased, so this is a Knicks channel, so I'm going to continue to be biased. I thought he should have won Coach of the Year. The fact that the Knicks have dealt with all of the adversity, all of the injuries to will your team to where they were this year is remarkable. But the reason why I say Brunson's a top 5 player is because, yeah, sure, the accomplishments might not be there, but he's just getting started. Brunson's, what, 27 years old? He's 27 years old, of course, in the second year of a 4-year contract. I mean, Brunson, there's, I believe, 50 players making more money than him in the NBA right now. That's just ridiculous. I like Brunson as well because of his efficiency, his leadership. Everyone around him elevates their game. Brunson, all he wants to do is win. I was watching an interview from him. It was actually after the game with TNT, with the crew. And he said that, Ernie said that, oh, you're the first player to, I think it was 35 points and whatever, 10 assists and a 4 strike, something like that. And Brunson, of course, he said that's good company to be in, but I'm focused on the second round already. Brunson, he said that time and time again to the media, to the fans, that all he cares about is winning. And, Brunson, remember that game when he had 61 against the Spurs? Brunson could care less. The Knicks lost that game, and that's why I respect him so much. And Carmelo Anthony is one of my favorite players of all time, and I'm not even going to take a diss at Melo because I love me some Carmelo Anthony, but Melo, he would put up a bunch of points, but the Knicks weren't winning anything, and I get the roster wasn't as good, and nothing against the coaching or anything like that. Coach Thibodeau is definitely one of the better coaches in Knicks history, but it's just that wasn't enough, right? I mean, it's not enough, and Brunson, he puts up the numbers, but the Knicks are winning. I mean, the Sixers were 31-8 with Embiid when he played in the regular season, and the Knicks took them out in 6 games. And it should have been in 5 games. Remember, last game, the Knicks had a 6-point lead with like 20 seconds left, and Tyrese Maxey gets an and-1 3-pointer, which was a travel, but whatever. And then, of course, pulls up from the logo, makes it, and the Knicks blew the game in overtime. But this Knicks team has a legit chance to win the championship. I mean, it sounds crazy to say because I haven't seen the Knicks in my lifetime win a championship. I haven't seen the Knicks go to a conference finals, an NBA finals, and I'm a newer Knicks fan. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I became a Knicks fan in 2010, so yeah, I've been a part of really the worst of the worst, if I'm being real. I've seen the Knicks win 17 games, and that's why the Knicks, where they are right now, feels even better. I mean, it's just truly awesome. But the reason why the Knicks can win a championship is because they have Jalen Brunson, but it's also the other players. They don't get talked about enough. If you only watch the Knicks in the playoffs, you don't know about Josh Hart. You don't know about Donte DiVincenzo and the impact that these guys have made since they came over. Josh Hart was a trade deadline pickup last season, and Donte was a free agent pickup. Now, Donte had 23 points and 7 assists. Josh Hart had 16 points and 7 assists. The Knicks, 110 of their 118 points came from Brunson, Hart, and Devo, the Villanova Wildcats, on a score or an assist. The Knicks bench last night, I'm not going to say it was necessarily non-existent because I thought Mitchell Robinson played extremely well, but Miles McBride played in 9 minutes and had 3 points. Mitchell Robinson played in 18 minutes and had 2 points. And then outside of that, that was it. Only 2 guys came off of the bench. No Achua last night, and Alec Burks obviously hasn't been a part of our rotation for a minute. So there's just no one really giving you points off the bench, but you get 41 from Brunson, 23 from Devo, 16 from Hart. Isaiah Hartenstein gives a 14 points, and then OG scores 19. I mean, OG, man, just that dunk over Embiid, the 2 threes that he hit, of course, just off of Josh Hart offensive rebounds. I mean, I just can't stress enough of how happy I am with this roster, and it's just scary to think that the Knicks are without an all-NBA player. Think about that for a second. This Knicks team, with how good it is and how well it's been playing, they're without Julius Randle. Would things be different if Randall was playing? Maybe, but Randall looked like he was a much different player, and I get that he was awful against the Hawks and he played with an injury last playoffs, but the Knicks were blowing out. They won by 44, guys, against the Nuggets. We saw them beat the Sixers, the Timberwolves. The Knicks were beating top tier teams in the NBA by wide margins with Julius Randle. And he's a guy that just takes off so much pressure on Jalen Brunson. But of course, he's out for the season, so he won't be playing against the Pacers. But we will do a Knicks-Pacers preview, just like I broke down the Knicks and the Sixers. I don't really know too much about the Pacers because I only watched the Knicks. So the only time I saw the Pacers play was when they played the Knicks. So I'm definitely going to have to go and check them out and watch some tape and film so I can give you guys the best breakdown possible. But, I mean, I've been a fan for the Knicks for 14 years now, and I have never been this pleased with the organization. I mean, yeah, sure, there have been some good players to come into the Knicks, and Carmelo Anthony, Porzingis, I love J.R. Smith as well. I've got all those guys' jerseys. But it's just the overall balance. The Knicks have a good roster. They've got good management. They've got good coaching. The fans never left, right? The Knicks fans have always sold out the Garden. They've always watched the Knicks. Even last season, or not last season, sorry, 2 seasons ago when the Knicks were the 12th seed, I believe, and I was making videos, like, people were showing love and watching the games. I was watching the games. But, I mean, you look at where the Knicks were then versus now. When I made this channel, Jalen Brunson was not on this roster. RJ Barrett, Manuel Quickly, Mitchell Robinson, these guys that the Knicks drafted certainly showed a lot of promise, but the Knicks didn't have a number 1 option. And the funny thing is, Kenny Smith, who is a brilliant basketball mind, and of course there's analysts that are going to make mistakes. He goes out there and he says that Jalen Brunson will never be the best player on the court in the playoffs for the Knicks, and he outplayed Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, at least in my opinion, but I'd imagine everyone watching this would agree with me. And then against the Caps, he outplays Donovan Mitchell. Against the Heat, he outplays every single player on the Heat, including Jimmy Butler. And Kenny Smith did say that Jimmy Butler is better than Jalen Brunson, which is honestly laughable. I mean, Jimmy Butler's like 35, 36 at this point. But, I mean, Jalen Brunson is truly a top 10 player in the NBA. I mean, if you can name 10 better players than Brunson, maybe overall you can, fully healthy. Like Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, are they better than Brunson? Maybe, probably, but this season there has not been even 5 better players than Brunson. I mean, I would say, Jokic, Luka, and Shea. And maybe missing someone, I don't know. I think Giannis was really good this year, but Brunson was a top 5 player. And I don't know if he made All-NBA first team. I think he might have made second team, or does that come out after that? I don't even know when that comes out. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the Knicks winning a championship, man. I mean, could you imagine the New York Knicks, the laughingstock of the NBA, ever since I've been a fan of them, actually going out there and winning an NBA Finals? I mean, it's just thinking about it, man, would just be... I can't even put it into words. You know, bro. I mean, Knicks fans are the greatest, bro. The greatest fans in the world, bro. Or at least in the country. I don't know about the world, but they're the greatest fans in the U.S. I mean, these guys literally went out there against the Sixers in the, I don't know, is it Wells Fargo Arena? I don't know their arena, but literally it felt like a Knicks home game. I mean, there was more Knicks fans there than Sixers fans. I can promise you that. Or maybe there was more Sixers fans, but the Knicks fans were louder.